Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. We're taking a bit of a break, but we're glad to be back, and today I'm with my husband and we're going to be talking about marriage, friendships and boundaries.
That dynamic of being married, you're supposed to be friends or best friends, if you would call it, and then all the people around you, the friends that you have outside of your friendship. So we're just gonna take a deep dive into that subject today.
Yeah, so if you would want to learn more or hear about what we have to say, then keep watching. Okay, so when we started off our marriage, finding out that he was an introvert and I was an extrovert was just not working for me. So whenever we'd go hang out with my friends, before we'd go meet them, I'd be giving him a little lecture in the car to say, dude, you better go and talk, and even when we're there, I'd be giving you those eyes to say, dude, aren't you going to say something? But it was actually accepting that me and him were different.
And I think to maybe just back up and put things into perspective. Like she said, I'm an introvert, she's an extrovert. Being an extrovert, she's got like 1,000 friends. And not like on Facebook where it's just 1,000 people you don't know. She actually knows all these 1,000 people, and I barely have any friends, and I'm quite happy. I guess I'm that interesting, I just enjoy my own company. But so she has so many friends and I'm an introvert, and I'll just be explaining it to you. Look, if I'm not feeling it, or I just prefer to keep to myself, to be quiet, or I've got nothing to say, I'm not gonna force a conversation on anything like that. So, and she's just one of those bubbly type of characters where wherever she is, there's got to be something going on. There's got to be some conversation, something with anybody. And with me, if there's really we don't find any common interests, then I'm just like, it's fine. I'm quite happy to be quiet. It's not a problem for me. As for her, those quiet spaces or times can be a bit problematic. So it's just one of those things, understanding that we are different. So she would drag me along to, and because she's like I said, she's got 1,000 friends. So every weekend or even on weeknights, she's got friends who are having something, and then I'm being dragged along, and then I'm like the dutiful husband. Hey, go and make a play date with my friend's husband, and we have got a zero in common. God. So it'll be like, okay, hey, what's up? Yeah, I'm good, you're good, and then that's it.
The silence.
You see, silence. She's looking at me across the room like, hey, what are you doing? Say something.
I remember there's a time, I don't know where we went, and I kept coming to him to say, dude, you're not talking to the guy. Can you make conversation? But those are some lessons that we've learned. Now we're married for 8 years, so some things have changed. So this is what we're going to be sharing to help other couples who struggle with the same things I struggled with, because as much as I'm an extrovert, he also dragged me along with his friends, and sometimes I didn't get along with the wives. But we want to share with you the beauty of friendship and what it has done to help our marriage.
You're talking about friendship in terms of between us, or
with other people? Yeah, sorry, let me clarify. Friendships with other people. What it has done for our marriage. Ever since, let's talk about the friendships that we have since we came to Australia.
We've been fortunate. We've got good people around us, and I think we're just talking about it before we did this video, that ironically, a lot of our friends, the couples we're friends with, all the wives are extroverted and the guys are all introverted, surprisingly. I think 90% of them. So it's just strange that, and I was just saying, I think introverts are attracted to crazy.
Wow.
I mean, wow. It was an interesting coincidence, of observation that, that's interesting. So and being an introvert is just one of those things where you're not gonna mesh or gel or click with everybody, and it'll be very few people, because it's largely driven by interests that are common. Like, I don't have a lot of interests, and those interests are limited. So to find someone else with the same interests, then we've got something to talk about, something to discuss, and we can go on and on forever. And then if you see us talking, you think we're both extroverts, but in reality we're just introverts who meet who happen to, you know, agree on certain things and happen to have the same perspectives on certain subjects, so we can go on and on, as opposed to an extrovert, whether you have got nothing in common with that person or not, just to fill the sound, the noise you will make, you will find something to talk about.
You know what? I don't know if I'm weird, but I hate those awkward moments where everyone is just going,
You're weird. You're weird.
So I try to have a conversation going. But like he said, it used to amaze me to say, okay, he'll tell me, Anna, I'm an introvert. And then sometimes I introduce him to one of my friend's husband and they instantly click. And now I'm saying to him, dude, can we go? And he keeps talking. And I'm like, oh, that is another side of you I did not know, you know. But we also want to share with you the beauty of the friendships that we've had. And yes, like he's mentioned, we also just want to share the importance of actually being intentional about the 5 people you spend most of your time with. You know, moving here has helped us to meet really great friends. I know some people will be like, no, you know, there's certain things that your friends will not help you with or support you with, but for us, it's been different. There's this young lady who's a very close friend to me. The first time I met her, I said, God, that girl's gonna be my friend. And that couple has played a huge role in our marriage.
Yeah, they've been great friends too, especially we met them when we had just arrived, just a few months after arriving, and they were just so welcoming and so great. And it just so happened, like she's saying, she just got along with the wife and I got along with the husband. I mean, it was just like, wow, you know, we just clicked right away, and they were so helpful. Like, you know, they understood that when you're new immigrants, you just arrived, there's a lot you don't know, and you don't know what you don't know. So they were so happy to share with us and, you know, just shared some of the knowledge and wisdom they'd gained over the years of being here, and some of the tricks and shortcuts to get around certain things that, you know, when you're in these situations, do this. If you want to look at investing certain things, look at these kinds of things. If you want to look at whenever you're buying certain things, look at this. These are the options you've got. This is what you can do, what you probably should stay away from, all those sorts of things. So it really helped us. And like I said, we had things in common. We had a lot of things in common. I mean, we're able to talk, and so, you know, we can have, you know, outings together and all that kind of thing, and then that just strengthens the relationship and the bond and that friendship we have as with that other couple. And I think one thing that's also important to note is that, you know, out here as opposed to back home where almost every weekend you'd be out with the boys or you're going out with your friends, whatever, it's different out here. You're not always, like, even though you've got like you've got your friends, you're not going to see them as much as you would probably if you were in a setting like back home in Africa. Out here, you don't see each other as much, but that does not change the fact that you are friends, and when you get together, you're all good and you get, you know, get along and have a good time.
Yeah, and I think it's important to also just reflect on the friendships that you have, to say, how is this friendship helping me to grow? Don't have friendships where you're just sitting around and talking about people. Friendships where you cannot be yourself. I'm just one of those people who's big on being you, you know, remove that mask, be with people who you can say, you know what, we are broke this month, we actually can't go out. And the beauty of the friendships that we have is, even if they propose to say, guys, can we go to this place? If we cannot afford it, we're able to say, you know what, we'll pass. And it doesn't strain our friendship in any way. You know, because the worst thing you want to do is go to a place and you're like, dude, now we're in debt because we're trying to live up to people's expectations. For us, we are over the people pleasing.
With the Jones.
Yeah, we're over that, you know, and it's us doing what we can afford and actually being open about it. We cannot come because there are certain events where you're gonna pay for the dinner. Some of us have 3 kids, so it's paying for those 3 kids, paying for Brighton, paying for me, and at the end of the day, you're like, okay, we're just gonna sit around and do what? Gossip, talk about people, look good and take pictures, and we've spent $250. What can you do with that $250? You can invest it, you know. So we've also gotten to a point where we had to sit down and evaluate our friendships. How are they helping us grow? And values are important in friendships. Make sure that you're not compromising your values.
Yeah, that's really important. Like, and as an introvert, it's particularly important. Like, I think one thing that I value is my time. Like, if I've got nothing in common or I've got nothing to say, I would rather keep quiet or do something else. Like, usually my default is read a book. So it's one of those things that it's very important to always, like, the relationships that you have outside of your spouse is, what are you bringing to the table? I mean, it's good to be like, you've got a friend, they can help you when you're in need, but you must also be able to help them when they're in need, so that you're both bringing something to the table. You're both benefiting from that relationship, which just then is beneficial to both of you, and it's worthwhile. Like, time is a crucial thing. You've got to spend time with your kids, you've got to spend time with your spouse, you've got to go to work, you've got to do all these things. So it's really important to be surrounded by people that benefit you and that you can benefit, and then that way you both lift each other up and you both grow together.
Yeah, and also make sure that you're hanging around with people who are not always talking about divorce. People who are willing to make marriage work. Because if you're hanging around with people who just say to you, you know what, did he just do that to you? People who don't have the same values as you when it comes to marriage, it means that's also going to strain your marriage. Be with people who help you grow. We have a couple of friends that we actually read a book every week together, and we reflect on our marriage to say, guys, how are we going to improve? We fast together on a Wednesday, and that has helped us all to grow. And it's actually laughing about it and seeing that, you know what, we're not the only ones who struggle with this. So it helps us to grow our friendships and also grow our marriages. And
because she gets to see that, other guys go through similar things, so I'm not as crazy as she originally thought. But yeah, it's really important to surround yourself. The values, you cannot stress it enough. And like, we openly say we are Christians, so we start from a Christian value base. So that is our starting point, and then going from there, you have your friends. Those principles that we find from our Christian background are then the guiding principles, that what kind of people we hang around and all that, and when we hang around and what we do. So that's really important to us as a couple.
Yes, and the other point is hang out with people that do not try and change you. That is a huge thing. People who accept, like for us, it's my husband who works a full-time job. I do the homeschooling. Sometimes I meet people who will be like, girl, that man of yours is going to leave you. People who don't understand that you can actually work smart and not work 8 to 5. So that is why you need to align yourself with people who have the same principles. So we've also found amazing people who've allowed me to get opportunities. Like recently I had a friend who was like, Anna, I know you love evangelizing, I know you're into coaching, let's sign up for this course together. And she took me there, and we've found people who be like, there's an investment opportunity, Brighton, join. People who have a 2-hour call with him, helping him to understand where you can invest your money. So have people like that help you grow. I don't believe in people who can be your friends and not support you. People who go buy a house and not share that info with you to say, dude, at the back there's an opportunity for this and that. Those are true friends. If you've actually got friendships where you have people you can't ask to say, dude, how did you guys get here? Then you need to change your friends.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, you cannot stress the importance of values, because that stretch is not just between us, because remember, we've got children and they've got children. So the values they'll be sharing with their children, when your children, you're as couples, you're hanging out, the children will be playing together. So you want even that to seep down to the children, so that they are positively influencing each other at that level. So you know that even the children are around, the people they're hanging around are people that you can say, you know what, I'm happy my child to hang around that child, and they're teaching each other the good thing. They understand right from wrong. They understand how to treat adults, what to say, what to do, and then that just helps everybody around you, and that environment is just the right environment for you.
So yeah, we'll end by just also sharing the importance of friendship in a marriage. We cannot stress this enough. Enjoy marriage. I know we're living in a time where people will be like, a lot of marriages are ending, but it's also putting that extra effort to actually enjoy each other's company. Like for us, we've been stuck together for the past, because of COVID, we're in lockdown.
Stuck? Like,
no, I mean like, we've been together. Not in a bad way, Bryson. But I just mean like, we don't have a choice, but we are enjoying it, So it's also just allowing yourself to enjoy and have a friendship. Do things together. Like for us, it's the reading of books. I started off saying, Brighton, that is so boring. But now I keep coming to him and I'm like, dude, let's read this book. Well,
as far as I'm concerned, and I would like to believe you support me on this, but hey, the best friend in your life will be your spouse. There's no going around that. The moment you reach that point where you're best friends, I can tell you that your relationship just goes on to another level, and the way you relate and a lot of things just change when you know that my best friend is actually my spouse. That is so fundamental to everything else, because even if you've got your best friend who's not your spouse, you can then maybe take things that are just supposed to be between you and your spouse outside of the home, and that can just have adverse effects. So you need to know that my loyalties and everything lie first and foremost to my spouse. Everything else is secondary to that. Any other relationship or friendship is secondary to that relationship. And then once you've understood that and you've got that down, I can tell you all other things it'll be a lot easier to manage and deal, and some things just take care of themselves. Some things are just avoided. You're not going to go off to someone else talking things that you should not be talking about, and then you don't have that problem with your spouse. So it just, I cannot stress
and
that
because there's some who who are not married, I just want to encourage you, wait until you get the right person. Don't underestimate the importance of having the same values. There's some times where God will show you the red flags and you ignore them. But when you get married, marriage becomes so exhausting because you've got different values. You're always compromising on every little thing, and you're like, what do we have in common? So it's important.
Yeah, and I think on that, you're talking about the couples who are not yet married. There's this one saying, I don't know if I don't know where it's from, but someone once said that when you're choosing your spouse, make that decision as if your future children had a say in the matter.
Say it again.
When you're choosing your spouse, act as if your future children had a say in that decision.
Wow.
Because that will affect them. Who your children are going to be are determined by who you're going to join with. So it's so important. Don't just look at someone and say, oh, they're pretty, or he's handsome, he's strong, or she's beautiful, or he's got money, or she's got this, she's got a degree. Really think about beyond what you see on the surface. Because remember, this is a relationship that you have a choice in the matter, and that you're going to be committed to for the rest of your life.
That is so true. That is so true. So don't compromise. I am glad I waited. Sometimes I look back and I'm like, at that time I didn't appreciate what I had, and yes, it took us a lot to get to this point. Oh please. But I'm thankful because I also asked a sign from God to say, guys are always giving me everything, but there's one thing. If I meet the guy who actually just gives me flowers, I never gotten a guy who gave me flowers, and he was the first one, and I'm like, what? Because every other person thought it was about the big thing, but he understood my love language, and for me that was like, that is it. And now that I am walking in my purpose, I found I needed someone who understood who I was and who loved me for me. Like, the guy's always rooting for me. Sometimes when I'm like, you know what, Brighton, I've already changed my mind, he's like, I didn't marry a failure, so keep going. So it is so important. Maybe the next time we'll do a video to help single people and just share some red flags that you don't need to ignore. But we just thought today, let us share about friendships and boundaries. Make sure that your friends respect your spouse. Bad mouthing your spouse is not negotiable. Like, it's a no. If they're gonna do that to your spouse, then they are not your friend. And just make sure that you enjoy the beauty of life. I think this COVID season has taught us to enjoy every moment. Make the best of what you have, and in this COVID season where you're not meeting other people, just learn to enjoy each other's company.
Yeah, and if you, like you're saying, COVID, if you can be happy during this lockdown, and when the lockdown's lifted, then you're really a happy couple. You'll be happy in any other circumstance, because this is like as close to jail as a family can ever be put in. And if you can be happy in jail, you can be happy out of it. So,
Thank you guys for watching. We'll be back next week, and bye.